Hello everyone, this is VJose32 back again with a little What's on Deck, my weekly update on the world of playing cards here on VJose32 and my world of cards. Your one-stop shop for everything playing cards, reviews, updates, news, contests, giveaways, etc, etc, etc. Why go anywhere else? Let's start with some updates. First of all, Illusionist has come out with Madison Rounders Part 2. Yes, Madison Rounders Part 2. They have now released brown Madison Rounders, their version, I guess, of Fury 11's Brown Wins. And if you buy 12 brown rounders, you get one free blue rounder. You heard correctly, blue rounders, brown rounders, and blue rounders, which are exactly the same as black rounders and scarlet rounders, except different color in the backs. Also, they have a couple of new books. One is $95. It's an anthology on Daniel Madison tricks, I think. And the other one, I forget what it is, but the one is $95, the other is $55. If you buy one of them, you get a free brown rounder. If you buy both, you get a flea as well, but you get a free blue rounder if you buy both of them. But that's $150. For that price, you can buy 2 bricks of brown rounders and get 2 blue rounders instead of just 2 books in one deck. So I think it's a little bit better. Unfortunately, I'm not happy with these releases from Illusionist where you have to buy 12 decks and you get 1 free. I'd rather them just sell the blue rounders, even if it's 3-4 times the cost of a brown rounder, or 5 times the cost, or whatever. I have nothing nothing against them doing buy 12 get 1 free, but I'd like the option to buy just a couple of browns and a couple of blues. I think that would be great for everyone, because collectors like myself, we just want 2 of each. One to open, one to keep sealed. We don't want a brick. Come on, Illusionist. Get with it. Do something for collectors like myself and everyone else, instead of just trying to think of profits all the time. That's all it is a cash grab. Blue Crown is doing it. Illusionist is doing it. I wouldn't be surprised if 311 does it too. Speaking of which, 311 is coming out with Monarchs Part 4 on Halloween. This Thursday, I believe it is, right? It's Halloween. Yes, this Thursday is Halloween. And they're coming out with Part 4, which is Red Monarchs. You heard correctly, Red Monarchs coming very soon from Fury 11. And apparently they're going to be limited to infinity and beyond, which means absolutely unlimited. Sorry, I just responded to a message there. There we go. Also, Blue Crown House of Playing Cards, absolutely nothing going on. Dan and Dave, their big release this week was a coin purse, which is like triangle shaped. It's kind of bizarre. And in Big Blind Media, they got their Carnival Delirium coming soon, sometime in November. In Carded, well, their Bicycle Deco decks are finally shipping. I hope I get mine soon. I was told I was going to get them ASAP, so I hope I do. Then again, I think they might be shipping to Magical Jack first, so it might take a little while to get them to me. And Bicycle, they might have some new decks coming up by the end of the week, like the Espionage, and I'm not sure what else. I don't know what's going on with them. Kickstarter, lots going on Kickstarter, tons going on Kickstarter. For starters, gold bicycle playing cards from Elite Playing Cards, which is like their 1 millionth deck this year. It's already almost 200% funded, which is ridiculous. It's only been on for a couple of days, almost a month left in that campaign. It's actually, to be 100% exact, their 6th campaign on Kickstarter in 1 year, and their 8th deck, if you include the Gold Rituals and the Silver Ritual Premier decks. Which is pretty ridiculous in my opinion, but they're not bad looking, you know, probably not the nicest decks, but not the worst. Also new, the Princess Bride playing cards based on the Princess Bride movie, coming out from Albino Dragon. As usual, they still have not delivered on their last campaign, and they're already working on their next campaign. But as long as they're working on the last one and getting it out there, that's fine, I guess. Apparently, Kickstarter actually requires proof that something is going on with your previous campaign before you do the next one, so that's always good. It like Kickstarter really cares anyways. But anyways, this one, the Princess Bride, has 3 different decks from 3 different designers coming out. Already they had the first one come out, a second one, and now a custom seal for the second deck apparently is their next goal. And then there's going to be a third one. Each one is going to be completely different. The original one is a little bit lackluster. It's got way too much white on the back around the borders. It's got some purple. It's got some yellow flowers. It's got a couple of swords going through there, a couple of black masks, and that's it. The box is okay. It's got a sailboat on the back of the box, and it's got the guy and the girl about to kiss on the front of the box with some trees and some mountains and blah blah. Nothing too exciting. The second one, if I look at the updates, I should see it somewhere. Is a little bit different, more of a traditional back design in blue. Lots of line work and details. Looks more like a standard Albino Dragon deck, for that matter. And it's got nice thin borders. And then it features the guy and the girl holding a sword. There's some swords on there. There's lots of blue, lots of line work, a lot of details. It's kind of an animal, and yeah, whatever. I don't know what the third one's going to look like at all, but that will be unlocked. I don't know when. But yeah, they're doing good, like most of their decks, completely funded. Another new deck is the Kingdoms of a New World, which is completely, or actually not completely, but it's over 70% funded in a couple of days. It's ridiculous. I'm not even sure. It's like this guy's first project, I think, Nathaniel Mortensen. It's really nice looking. I like it. I'm backing it. Each suit represents something different. Spades represent spirit. Clubs, the nature. They represent nature. Diamonds represent technology, and hearts represent sky. So each the court cards in each suit have a different feel to them. Spades are more spiritual. The clubs are more animalistic, with like the queen has antlers on her head, or a headpiece with antlers, anyways. The diamonds is more robotic and steampunkish. And the court cards in the sky, they got like wings coming out of everywhere. Pretty interesting, pretty cool. I like them. And they have a red deck, a blue deck, and a limited edition deck which is black and gold. And the decks themselves, the back design again, kind of more of a traditional back design, lots of details, lots of line work, and symbols and stuff like that. Pretty cool. And the black one, black and gold, looks really nice. Although fitter borders would probably be better. It's not bad. And I definitely recommend checking that one out. And I wanted to see if this guy's done anything else because I'm not familiar with him. Apparently he's had another project, which was a fantasy card game. Okay. Anyway, we'll move along. Also, back on Kickstarter, the Bicycle Gods of Mythology. Playing cards this time being done by collectibleplayingcards.com, and it's over 80% funded. It's gonna make it this time around, which is great because I really like them and I was disappointed that they did not make it last time. Each suit features gods and goddesses of Greek, Roman, Egyptian, and Norse mythology, and they've improved the back design a little bit just by making the borders thinner, as by the request of everyone. They look so much better. The hearts feature the Greek mythology, diamonds the Roman mythology, clubs is Norse mythology, and obviously spades is Egyptian, and they look pretty awesome in my opinion. Same with the aces and the back design. The back design originally was horrible with big ass borders. Now it looks 100 times better, I think. I mean, it's got tons of colors in the back design, probably way too much colors in detail, with reds and yellows and blacks and whites. But whatever, the thinner borders, a lot better. And another thing that they have in this project is actually tumble marble coasters, which look pretty interesting. They feature the pip on each one, but I'm not going to get those, I don't think. But anyways, that's pretty cool. I'm glad that project is finally going to be successful. Also, the Oracle playing cards, 12 days left on that one, totally funded. Just a quick update. They got a new limited edition deck actually comes with a mini Ouija board and planchette. Pretty awesome. There's only going to be 1,000, which tells me it's probably just going to be a different box. And it's $28, $34 international, so yeah. A little bit pricey, but it's going to be Bicycle branded. So I'll probably add that on. The Dark Templar playing cards, they've updated the faces of the cards so that the indexes and the pips, the indexes are much more visible, a lot better. Thank you so much for doing that. That was a complaint on the last Elite deck, the Evolution, which was designed by the same guys, and now there's a complaint again on the Dark Templar. So it's nice to see that they actually listened to the people and fixed that, made them more visible, because they were too hard to see what they were. It'd be nice if the pips and the number were on the same corner instead of, hearts over here and 5 over here, but whatever. Another new deck is the Comic Con playing cards. This one is from Homerun Games that did the Bicycle 8-bit decks. This one I think might have some legal issues with the name Comic Con. They say, oh, well, there's no hyphen in between Comic Con, so there's no issue. But I think USBC is going to say, screw you. We're not going to print that one. Like I said, it's not doing too well, actually. They're looking for $9,500. So far, they got $3,500. But they do have just over a month to go, so they'll probably make it. To me, there's way too much going on, and it's not that great. The Ace of Spades, at the very least, has some comic book elements to it. All the court cards look like comic books, and they have they basically look like they're pages from a comic book. The Jack of Spades looks like Jack Sparrow from Pirates of the Caribbean, which is going to be another legal issue, I'm sure. The back design is nuts. It looks like a page from a comic book with words and pictures and shit all over the place. There's pips on there. It's a mirror image thing too. It looks weird. It's just way too much going on in my opinion. It's just one of those things that does not translate well into a deck of playing cards. And to make matters worse, they have like a series of decks that they want to do. This is not just one deck, it's a series of decks they want to do like every year. When Comic-Con comes around, they want to do a deck of cards. I think 4 issues or something like that. I don't know, I don't see. But anyways, yeah, it's just weird. Not the greatest. I probably would not recommend picking that one up. If I had to choose one, that would not be the one. The 3D deck of cards is well funded, almost $100,000. And they now have another deck, which is the Blackout 3D deck, which is like black and gold. Looks pretty awesome. $40 for that one though. I don't know if I'm going to go for it or not. Everything is just costing too much. And I do have frames as well that are not mechanical that you can get. I think that they're supposed to anyways. I don't know where they are, what the price is. It's still not that cheap, and I'm still not going to get it. But anyways, that's that. Another new deck is not really a standard deck of cards. But, well, it is, but it's not. It's the location cards. This creator has previously had a deck that was the character cards. And it's basically fantasy related stuff. You can use it for a standard deck of cards or for an RPG. And basically there's a bunch of locations on each card with a standard index. And it goes well, I guess, with their character cards. And it is funded already, surprisingly. And you get 2 decks, apparently. And yeah, blah blah. It's not that exciting. Meridian bicycle playing cards from TPX Designs, blah blah. 18 days to go. Only 65% funded. It's probably going to make it, but I don't know. He's had to resort to throwing out a limited edition box which is just a different color box to try and get more funding, which I think is pretty weak in my opinion. If you can't just sell the deck as it is based on that deck, yeah, that's not that good. And he had the audacity to tell me to cancel my pledge because I suggested it wasn't a good idea to start throwing out limited edition boxes when you can't even sell your main deck. I don't know, call me crazy, but that should be a stretch goal in my opinion, and not just a way to create to get extra funding, you know. If you're looking for $9,000, or actually what is he looking for here? He's got $9,000. If you're looking for $15,000 to print a deck of cards, and then you can't even get that amount without throwing in a limited edition box, how are you going to have the funds to print both those decks when you can't even get funding for just the one deck? You know, I don't know, it doesn't make sense to me. It should be a stretch goal. Unless he's factored that in, which he might have done with $15,000. But that just upset me a little bit. I might go back and back it anyways, but whatever. The Cthulhu bicycle playing cards. 6 days left. Very well funded. If you didn't pick them up yet, you might want to check them out. And both decks are completely custom. I think they wanted to do a third deck. I don't know if they've reached that goal yet. But they did come up with a 32 card tarot sized deck called the Arkham Knights, which is a game. Looks pretty interesting. And you can add it on for 15 bucks. Maybe that's their third deck. I guess that might be their third deck. It's a tarot deck. Whoop-de-doo. And yeah, it's not a standard deck. It's a tarot deck, and I'm definitely not getting that one. Doesn't appeal to me. The Plain Arts deck, 13 days left, totally funded. Civil Unrest playing cards, 4 days left. If you haven't picked these up, check them out. They're really nice, and they are funded this time around. They failed last time. Caravan of Seers playing cards, which is a free decks based on a fortune-telling theme. This time around, they are completely funded. They're not going to USBC anymore. They're going with Ad Magic, I believe, which is the same company that I used for my deck. And they got 10 days left, well funded this time around. It's got to be the only deck that failed and funded in one single month, because they just failed like a week ago, and now they funded. It's pretty interesting. And that was just one deck, and now they got 3 decks, and they've funded. The Identity playing cards, well, they're 100% funded already, and they still got a couple weeks to go. Check them out if you haven't. A Zombie White playing cards, 23 hours to go, and 500% funded, which is pretty good until you realize it's only pretty 600 bucks. But whatever, it's funded, it's going to be printed, not USB-C, but check it out if you're interested. The Celtic playing cards, 4 days to go, and this one is worrying me a little bit because I haven't seen a whole lot of progress in the deck, but we'll see. The Persian Empire Royal Edition playing cards, 19 days to go, only 31% funded. This one is not looking too good, and I think the problem is a lot of people just don't trust the guy too much based on what happened with the original campaign, and him saying that, you know, he spent all this time creating this original artwork and it was all copy and paste, and he denied it. But he relaunched it as a bicycle deck. It was successful. Didn't get enough funding for the second deck. Now he's got a second project for the second deck, this Royal Edition, which is a silver deck, and it's not doing too good. Maybe if he, you know, got the first one out, people would be more comfortable paying for a second one. On top of that, now he's thrown in a stretch goal, which I just don't like too much. There's nothing wrong with the deck as it is, and now he's come up with a stretch goal, which is a completely redesigned deck called the Featherglass, which makes the faces quite different, and I just don't think I like them too much. They look like stained glass from a church, and I just don't think that looks that good. I think how it is fine, and you can't even sell them as it is, and he's already looking at stretch goals, but whatever. The Iris Gaelic playing cards, 7 days left, only 64% funded, may or may not make it. Oh, yes, somebody came out with a deck called the Disease deck. It's not a standard deck of cards, it's just got a bunch of illustrations of different diseases on it. Yeah. Very interesting. The Gentleman 52 deck, not doing too good, only 58% funded with 14 days to go. It's going to be close. The Photographist, 12 days to go, only 57% funded again. It's going to be close. I don't think it's going to get funded, unfortunately. Maybe people just don't want a deck of playing cards that has photographs on it. I don't know. Split Suit playing cards, 11 days left. Those ones are completely funded. Those ones have 2 suits on each card. It can be used for a game that they created and just normal games. It's interesting. It's weird at the same time. Unfortunately, he does not ship internationally because he claims at one time he had to pay like 65 bucks to ship a package out, or 75 bucks, whatever it was, internationally, and he just has not factored that into his project. So yeah, best of luck. I'm not gonna be getting them. And also the back design is horrible. One way, I think it just features pips on it, and it's horrible. Another deck which is gonna fail miserably, it's only 5% funded with 23 days to go, is playing cards from the Salon de Magie Museum of Magic, which I've never heard of before, and yeah, it's just not doing that good. Another one that's failing horribly with only 5% funding is the Cat and Kittens custom playing cards, which features cats and kittens on the face of every card. That is definitely a big seller, I'm sure. Only 10 backers, 17 days to go. It's not gonna make it. Anyways, the Salon de Magie Museum of Magic playing cards, has an interesting theme, but they haven't even begun to design it. They haven't come up with a back design that I know of, and it's horrible. They also wanted to have gold edges, but apparently USPC doesn't do that anymore, and they wanted to use a B-back style, and who knows what the faces are going to look like. Yeah, that's not going to sell very well. Let's make a B deck and put it on Kickstarter. That's going to do well. And it's failing, and they haven't got any designs, anything. That is just absolute crap. If you want to sell a deck of cards on Kickstarter, the best thing to do is have the artwork 100% completed before you launch it, or at least somewhat completed. You got to show people something, not just go, oh, here's my idea, let's see if it works. And anyways, I've covered all the new decks. Coming soon as well in a few weeks is a new deck from Usai, however you pronounce it. There was a card out. It looks pretty nice, similar to the other decks, and I look forward to it. Radical Ladies and Pippleglyph, I think Pippleglyph is printed, will be shipping soon, and Radical 80s I think is printed as well, or will be printing very soon. And a lot of other decks are printing or going to be printed soon, and will be shipping soon. Some failures, the Bicycle Demographic, 15 hours left, it failed, unfortunately. It's not a bad idea, but I guess it just needs more work. Only 14 hours to go, and just over 40% funded. Not going to happen. The Creepy deck from XQ Productions failed again. It was so close. Let me see if I can find it. The Anarchy playing cards, an absolute failure. 5 days to go, only 6% funded, just over 500 pounds pledged. That's what happens when you rip off the Rounders deck, the Madison Rounders. That's exactly what it looks like, except a different logo on the back design. And they claim it took 8 months to design, and they say it's a retro casino design, and blah blah. That's lazy, and it's just a cash grab, in my opinion. And which one was I going to search for? Yes, Creepy. The Creepy cards, yeah, they only had $4,300 out of $5,200. It was so close. They needed like 900 bucks more, and they failed. I was watching it just the other day, just before it failed, and it was so close. Disappointing, in my opinion. And apparently it was going to be USPC with that low of a goal. I don't know how. I don't know what this guy's going to do. Everything he has created has failed time and time again. Maybe he should just hang it up. Give the designs to somebody else at collectibleplayingcards.com. Let them sell it, They'll do much better. Also, the League of Monsters Bicycle deck, not doing good. 4 days left, only 40% funded, 41%. I think I mentioned that already. Renegades and Rogues, 3 days left, only 14% funded. This one is doing terrible the whole time. And to make matters worse, they have launched a new campaign on fundraiser.com. And they only got $25 so far out of $10,000. That's not going to go well. And as I mentioned before, it's a horrible design. I've told the guy, he doesn't want to listen, so whatever. The Blacklight Monster deck, 3 days left. It's not going to make it. The Gestalt playing cards, that one failed, as I predicted. I guess people just don't want their deck of cards changed. What if it ain't broke? Don't fix it. They do plan to relaunch. And yeah, that Blacklight Monster deck, which was a failure from the start, only 10% funded with 3 days left. The Wanted Dead or Alive playing cards failed again. And apparently they do plan to relaunch for like a third or fourth time, whatever what is. And only with one color this time, because I've been suggesting that for, since the beginning. Only do one color. If it's successful, do the next color. But they didn't want to listen. It's a pretty nice deck of cards. I like the faces. I like the back design. Lots of details. Amazing deck, but it just hasn't been successful. Mainly because he's been looking for $22,000, which is way too much money, and he should just be focusing on one deck. Also, it doesn't help that in his last campaign, there was a 30-day campaign. It probably should have been longer. He only had one single update, and in that update, he promoted somebody else's deck of cards. The League of Monsters, which is also failing. It's nice to support your friends, but you should probably focus on numero uno when you're not doing too good, instead of promoting somebody else's deck of cards. Because then somebody might go, oh, well, I like this one better. I'll go pledge for this deck and cancel pledge on your deck. Just a little advice. Also, the Cartomancer deck, that failed. That was a failure from the start. And like I said, the Caravan of Seers, that failed and now has succeeded. Also coming soon to Kickstarter, the Houdini Seance deck, which looks pretty nice. And it's coming on Thursday, October 31st. As usual, I apologize for the very long video and rants and blah blah. Also, coming soon, in a few days I believe, or early November, from Jackson Robinson, the Sherlock Holmes deck. Apparently there's going to be a total of 6 decks. Free limited and free unlimited versions. And also apparently there's a new deck from Alloys coming soon on alloystudio.com, the Peafowl. I heard I think that's coming next year though, which is good because they've already done too many releases this month. I heard there was going to be a release this past Friday. It didn't happen. Some B deck, I don't know what it is. Speaking of which, the B quality deck should be coming soon. Another one coming to Kickstarter soon is the Grunzland deck of cards. Bicycle Grunzland looks pretty interesting. Very interesting, very different, although fairly standard. And it's definitely got like a gothic theme to it, and blood splatter and stuff like that. But the indexes are probably way too tidy in my opinion. Anyways, the Sherlock Holmes deck. There's going to be the Baker Street edition, a limited edition Baker Street, a Holmes edition, and a Moriarty edition, and limited editions of those as well. And I'd say it's pretty interesting. I don't know if they're going to be USPC or not. It should be. I mean, he just got a job with USPC. I think it'd be a slap in the face if he turned around and printed these decks with somebody else. But whatever. Anyways, that is what I've got, from what I can tell. Can't see anything else. And I'll see you next time. I apologize for the extra long video this week. And I got some reviews coming up. And also, my contest ends in a couple of days. If you didn't get your entry in, make sure you do very, very soon. I did not get that many entries, but that's okay. Whatever. I guess people just didn't like the idea. Or didn't have time for it. It seems like a lot of people are busy with school and college. A lot of people have not been uploading videos on their channels or been very active. I don't know what's going on with the Magic and card community on YouTube, but it's definitely not too good. And also, my deck of playing cards, if you want it, you can get it on Etsy.com. I'll post a link down below. It's not cheap. It's like 16 bucks plus another $15 to ship. But that's just, it's costing me 13 or 14 bucks to print them, plus a couple of bucks each deck for shipping. I factored in 80 bucks to ship all the decks. So I gotta at least try to break even or come close to it. I can't, sell them for 5 or 6 bucks each and lose 300 bucks. That just wouldn't be fair. And if you can't afford it, I understand. If you want to buy a bunch, go ahead. They are very limited. I'm only selling 25 at the moment. There might be a few more added on later on, but we'll see how the 25 goes. So far I've sold like 6, which is not bad. It's a start. So yeah, go check it out. And if things go well, I might even do a red version. We'll see. And I'll see you next time.